Hello, and welcome to the What Are We Doing Here podcast, where we share the inspiring stories of two completely opposite women who overcame their unhealthy relationships with food and negative self talk and found a path to health and healing through self discovery and natural nutritional supplements. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Brittany.
And we're here to really give you a deep dive into our journeys and how we came to be on this podcast and be sharing our stories with you. But really, we want to inspire you to know that you're not alone, give you a little bit of a background of the stories that we have, where we've come from, and really where we're going. We want to take you on our journey with us. So, why don't you, Brittany, go ahead and give us a little background about how you got here, how you got to Destin, where we met?
I've always had just kind of a negative relationship with food. From the time I was out of high school and started putting on that little bit of extra weight, I started just feeling bad about myself. Society says that we have to look a certain way to be beautiful, and that's not necessarily the case. But I was so young, that's kind of the way I viewed the world. I had to look a certain way, and I started putting on weight. We didn't understand why. And I later came to find out it was from my PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. I know a lot of women that suffer with it. Before that, I started doing almost a roller coaster. I was starving myself for one thing. The doctors were telling me I was starving myself. I was, working out and not seeing results. Then I would feel so bad because of starving myself and still gaining weight. I would start binge eating. A lot of us see that in college, which is when mine started. Um, and just over time of gaining weight and those negative, reactions and those negative views of myself started tearing me down. So then I started having a very negative relationship with food, you know? Um, I came to find out when I was 22, I was still in college, that I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. I had gained 80 pounds in a year. And for a girl that was on the dance squad, the step squad, the cheerleading squad in the band, was very active. It was hard news to take. How do you go from being happy with the way you look to hiding, putting on big clothes, hiding behind other people in pictures? What do you, how do you go from that? And negatively, it affects you. It affects your mind in a way that is so negative. You become almost negative talking to yourself, and it becomes a spiral out of control. So after I was diagnosed with PCOS, I started the dieting. I tried everything. Most of you guys have tried it all too, that are in the same shoes that I was in. Anything from um, Salus. I was, in keto. I cut out carbs. I was trying to have good fats. Later, I found out that was detrimental to my body. It was killing my metabolism. All these diets that I was crash dieting were not helping me in the long run. I was making myself more unhealthy. I was going to the gym. I was watching my boyfriend that was building muscle and becoming lean, and I was building muscle too, but the scale was going up, still going up. Um, Even with the prescription diet medication I was on, it was still going up. There was nothing that could help me. I was diagnosed about a year and a half ago with pseudotumor cerebri. It is a newer diagnosis that a lot of women are receiving. Has a lot to do with your weight. Um, what it does is your brain is holding too much spinal fluid, and it's sitting on your spine. It's causing cysts. It causes nerve pain, but most importantly, it causes you the pressure in your brain. It causes you to lose your vision. I was all of a sudden looking at more weight gain, losing my eyesight, and more negative thoughts. How do I get out of this? I've been in this cycle at this point for 15 years. And a lot of people are going through the same thing I am. And they don't know how to help me either. We're all looking at each other going, we work out, we eat right. What are we doing wrong? And that's when someone approached me and said, let me help you. And I said, I've tried it all. You can't help me. She said, take this. And she gave me a box of drops and some pouches to drink every day. Um, and sure enough, why not try it? You've tried everything else. Sure enough,
Right.
she said, um, do this, do this. You're going to feel better. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I was a different person, completely different. I drank the drink and I lost all this inflammation in my stomach, which is almost
Yep.
2 pant sizes. It was crazy.
Yep.
Um, and also the drops are helping my hormones. I'm losing weight. It's helping my hormones. Look how happy I am. So I was so excited that I was seeing these results that decided I wanted to help women. That's when I said, I'm going to Destin to this conference with this awesome product, this awesome company that sells these products that's changing my life. And that's where I met you, Lindsay.
Yeah.
And that's where our paths crossed for the first time.
Yep. So I'll go ahead and share a little bit of my story as well. Similar, a very negative relationship with food, but a little bit on the other side of that is I come from a very thin family. My mom is small. I'm very tall, so I'm 5'11". And as I grew taller, the scale started going up. And for me, it was really difficult to see that number go up and not correlate it to the fact that I was getting taller. I was taller than my mom. I played sports. I was really kind of developing muscle, hitting puberty and getting some hips. And that number on the scale it really bothered me. My best friend was 4'11" in high school. So again, everyone's scale was saying 100 pounds. So when mine got over that, it was intolerable. It really like started this process of, well, why am I fat? Right? Like why can I not weigh that? So when I was 14 years old, I started running. I started, I read I could probably at 14 years old tell you the caloric count of anything. I had a little book, the calorie counter. You could find the calories, the carbs,
Wow.
all of the macronutrients of just about every food, every fast food restaurant. I knew it all. So I counted calories and I would have an apple and peanut butter every day for breakfast. I would go practice volleyball 3 times a day, in the morning and afternoon. But then at lunch, I would walk. So I guess I wasn't practicing 3 times a day, but we would have morning practice and evening practice. And instead of at lunch, when everybody else was eating, I was walking. By the time I was 16, I got a job, and on my lunch break, I would go home and run the treadmill 10 miles on my lunch break. So I had a really difficult time with that number on the scale, and that was the big thing that hit me. And so my mom ended up finding out because a friend of mine was worried and, told my mom, hey, I think Lindsay is having some problems. So then we started seeing a nutritional counselor. We started seeing, doctors, and they were monitoring my food. Well, then I had to eat. And then I was so uncomfortable with the food that was going in, I had to purge it. So, whew, um, so then it turned into a bulimic cycle because I was being monitored, and it was, somebody not forcing me, but really forcing me when I was uncomfortable with the food. And I had such a fear, just a fear of calories and a fear of food. And so that really started my hormonal imbalance. 14 years old, I had just hit puberty and started cutting calories. So forward on, I met my current husband. And when I was young, I was just had turned 19 years old. And really, he gave me some confidence. And
Yes.
I don't really know. I don't really know how. It's really difficult to explain, but like someone believing in you and like raising you up. And I mean, I was still dealing on and off with the binge purge cycle, and I didn't really talk to him about it a whole lot. But I started nursing school and I was busy, and there was a lot of just the process where I think I was distracted enough that I was eating normally.
Hmm.
And it's really strange because I don't really know. I mean, I had seen the counselors. So taking some of those pieces coupled with a positive relationship in my life really helped me to deal a little bit with the food fears at that point. But once I got done with college, I'd graduated, started working as a nurse, I started having trouble again with like, and I think it was maybe the stress. I don't know.
Right.
But I started having like, well, I'd put on a few pounds in college because I was busy and doing nursing school. Then we were getting married. I remember now I was trying to lose the weight for the wedding, and I got very consumed again with the fear of putting calories in.
Hmm.
And that kind of sparked that cycle. And so even after we initially got married, I was still dealing with it, not really talking about it. The first time that I can remember that I really had a hard stop with having a fear with food is getting pregnant, which was not easy. I had to be on fertility drugs. So, you know, I feel like I'm going in circles, but so got married. We started trying to have kids because we had dated for over 4 years. So we'd been together for a while, knew that we wanted to have kids. I wasn't having a period though at this point. And, my hormones were all out of whack from all of the dieting, chronic over exercising.
Yes.
And I went to the doctor, and I had at that point developed like estrogen dominance. I mean, my hormones were just all over the place.
Right.
So I wasn't ovulating, and they started me on Clomid to
Hmm.
help me ovulate.
Yes.
And I did end up after 2 years getting pregnant. And I think that that whole cycle of trying to get pregnant, I was so focused too on like getting
Hmm.
pregnant and having a child that like the food things kind of bypassed.
Hmm.
So have the two babies. I ended up getting pregnant. I had my son, and then again 3 years later had a daughter. And then the body image issues came back.
Yeah.
And that was when I decided I was going to compete in a bodybuilding competition. What better way to get the perfect body, because I was still chasing the perfect body at that point, than to compete in a bodybuilding competition. So I was good at counting calories. I was really good at restricting and really good at over exercising. So 3 hours a day of exercise, counting every macro. It was like human nature for me.
Hmm.
So did really well in the competition. But when I got up on stage and I winning these trophies, I still didn't feel good. I had the body, but I still didn't feel good. I didn't feel good physically. I was tired. I didn't feel good emotionally. That perfect body
Wasn't healthy.
it wasn't healthy. And I couldn't even enjoy people saying, "Oh my gosh, great job. Congratulations." It was like, yeah, and that was hard for me because I worked really hard for it. And then it was like, it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be for me. So, um, then, so that was in 2020. So about 3 years ago, um, decided I wasn't going to do bodybuilding anymore. We moved halfway across the country, wanted to just focus on our little family. And I wanted to try to find my health just being healthy, like doing a normal amount of exercise and and I tried that, but then I gained some weight because I did not reverse diet well out
Mhm.
of the competition. So then I decided to do 75 hard, 2 workouts a day. See, all these yo-yo, I'm doing anything that I can to like strip the weight, right? So 2 workouts a day, follow an exercise or follow a diet plan for 75 days. It's supposed to be mental toughness. It is. It is. I think that it really does do something for your mental toughness, but I wasn't doing it for the right reason.
Right.
Okay. So completed that challenge. All was well. But guess what? When I stopped doing it, the weight started coming up again and I couldn't do normal things. Started training for a half marathon. The weight just kept going up. I was feeling crummier. I was tired. I couldn't function. I was fussy with my kids, um, blowing up at my husband all the time. I just didn't feel like myself. So I went to the doctor, diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid condition. And I couldn't get into it an endocrinologist for 5 months. So So I started researching what can I do on my own? What can I do to find a solution that could maybe help me feel better while I'm waiting for this appointment? And I start seeing, some posts on social media about these hormone balancing drops. And I was like, yeah, right. So
Right.
I did. I messaged the girl and I was like, tell me about this. She told me and I was like, okay, whatever. I think 3 times then she messaged me again and I was like, I'm really not interested. I'm just going to wait it out. And
I
then like
think you're probably more skeptical as an, as a
medical
professional.
provider.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was. But then I really just something said, you have nothing to lose.
Right.
You're waiting 5 months and you're going to feel crummy. So it was cost at first, right? I was like, I can't afford that upfront.
Mhm.
And then, but I'm drinking a Red Bull every day to try to stay awake. I'm
Right.
drinking sometimes 2 a day. So I told my husband, I'm like, I will cut out the Red Bull for 30 days. That will pay for it. No energy drinks. And I'll be able to, just try it. I'm committing to no energy drinks. Well, then after 6 days, I didn't need any.
Right.
I start the
Absolutely.
product. 6 days later, I'm like, have energy, starting to sleep better. Now, for me, the scale didn't move, but my body started changing.
Hmm.
So then, like you, I started seeing results and I thought, I need other people to experience this. And then came Destin. So we also attended the event in Destin, and you and I crossed paths on the beach, and here we are.
Uh, I would like to add, because I didn't say this, and I think it's important because you brought it up, but I also, I wasn't menstruating with PCOS. I don't have kids because of that reason. Um, I'm menstruating now. First time without a doctor's help in 15 years. So if we can help even one woman have a family
Yes.
that she wouldn't have had,
Yep.
we have helped somebody. And I think that that's important to both of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think just knowing that there is a different path, that I I believe in everything in the medical system. Healthcare is important, but sometimes we get so fixated on one way that things are done that we can't shift our mindset. Just like you, we were both very skeptical that there was another way that wasn't with a doctor's help, that wasn't with hormones, that wasn't with, you know, putting something in to change the way that our body works, which is what we're doing, but what we were doing wasn't working.
And
So,
a lot of times, especially me as a bigger girl that nobody's been able to help, I don't look for like a preventative type thing. Like, let's work on ourselves from the inside out and then watch ourselves get better. It's more like, help me, look at me, I need help, give me something that fixes it now.
yeah,
Um, Whereas we need to be looking at it as, let's start changing ourselves from the inside. Let's prevent all of these future issues from
yep,
happening again. And
yep,
luckily, it just happens really quick.
right. Well, see, and I'm glad that you bring that up because for me, and because it's a whole nother episode, but I did a whole year of really like healing my mind and healing,
Yes.
that inner child. Like, what is it from childhood that really affected my fear of food, and being able to really heal and not continue to go through those cycles. And so I was looking for that inside out journey. I had been thin. I had, mine. Yes, I had put on a few pounds, but it was really how I was feeling. Like, I had been healing my mind and doing all of the gratitudes and doing all of the, like, mental self-help stuff. But I just wanted to feel better.
Right, absolutely. Whereas mine was seeking weight loss,
Yeah.
just because I look around at the world and, us bigger women, we have a lot of things that are more difficult, from buying clothes to the clothes that are available are more expensive. Um, you know, People at the gym look at you like, really? Did you just start when you've been going there for years and they're new? So
Yeah,
there's a lot that goes along with this that we need to break through.
absolutely.
And you have been helping me so much, and I do want to help everybody else. But I do want to say, because I did forget to mention it earlier, which is important, because I'm healing myself from the inside out and my body is starting to do what it should with the menstruating and the hormones, and my attitude's better. I lost 35 pounds in right at 13 weeks. That is a
Awesome.
huge win, a huge
Yes,
win.
that is huge. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. And I, like I said, the number on the scale wasn't important to me, but the inflammation
Yeah.
from, the autoimmune condition, like, you can look at pictures posted on our social media sites, and you can see just how much that inflammation has gone down.
Mhm.
And it's 9 pounds, but I didn't really measure,
But
but
9
just,
pounds on your frame, it does, you can really tell it with your before and after.
yeah.
Absolutely. And you're doing it in a healthy way.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's more, not crash dieting. It's
Yes.
eating when I'm hungry. And that's another thing, huge. This is a huge non-scale victory for me, is I'm listening to my body. I'm eating when I'm hungry. It's not, with bodybuilding too, it's you have to get this many macros in. So you were
Mhm.
eating whether you were hungry or not, or you were restricting if you were hungry or not, because you only had a set amount of calories and protein that you could eat. Where now, since I have been on this journey for the last 6.5 weeks, I'm listening to my body. And it is incredible how, like, if I wake up and I'm hungry, I eat. If I wake up and I'm not, I wait until I'm hungry. And so tuning in to your body's signals again and really listening, because that's something that I have been very, very bad about. Working through and powering through a workout, even though I was tired.
Mhm.
You had to get all the reps in, you had to get all of the workout in to build the muscle for a show. So when we wake up and we go out to the gym, like today, I was really tired. I said, I'm only doing 3 sets of this one. And it was okay. I was
And it was
still
okay.
moving my body. I was still doing the right
Yes.
things, but like listening at that point and not overtaxing and over stressing my body,
Mhm.
just listening, that has been incredible. It just feels really good.
And that's another difference between us. I've never really listened to my body. So I'm learning from you as we sit here. I need to be listening more to my body. What is it telling me? If I'm hungry, don't wait until you have a headache to eat. Don't starve yourself.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I think that it's just this conversation here is so important to understand that regardless of our backgrounds, it's important.
Absolutely.
We have similarities and we have differences, but talking to people and hearing people's stories, you learn from them all the time. And I just think that it's incredible. And I thank you for being here on this journey with me.
And I thank you for being here on this journey with me.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Um, I think that if if you're cool with it, that wrapping this one up, because we just wanted to introduce you to us and give you a little background about who we are, where we came from, and why we're here. And that is truly to inspire everyone out there that there is a path to healing, there is a path to feeling
Yes.
better, and we may not have all the answers,
No,
but
we
we
definitely
just want to
don't.
be we just want to be here along the way, to support you. So reach out to us on social media. We'll put some links in some of the description boxes so that you can follow us on our social media channels. Make sure that you like and subscribe on YouTube and make some comments. Let us know if there's something that you want us to talk about, explain, or talk a little more about what we talked about today, expand on one of the conditions. Just let us know. We've got a lot of things planned, but if something comes up that feels really right or you really want to know about it, let us know. We'll change directions because we're all about pivoting.
Yes, we would love to hear from you. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, until next time, this has been What Are We Doing Here?
See you next time.